A big part of the Carvana buying experience is the ability to check out the car at least online. Not the same as in person, but they give you 7 days for that. But you still need to make that initial decision. So let's take a little look at what kind of information is available on the site itself. As you come into the site, you can see the cars that you're looking for. You can search on a particular model. You'll get those models. There's additional criteria and filters. They work really well. I'm not going to go through a lot of detail on the actual searching, but you're going to be able to find what you're looking for pretty quickly. What you won't find, of course, is really older models. Probably 2013 is the earliest model you'll have. In other words, 4 model years back. After that, it's probably not worth Carvana's while to sell those other cars. So you are limited to more recent model used cars. That being said, what can you really see online? You're sort of buying this based on what you're seeing there, and then of course your experience once you get the car in. Well, you do have the ability to simply select what's in here and see what's going on. You can drag it around, do 360, see what's happening, and then you notice that there's these triangles and these little blue highlights. The triangles are areas where, nicely enough, Carvana highlights areas where there might be some blemish or scratch, and the blue areas are highlighting some features of the car. And so if we take a look at some of those, you can just simply select on those triangles and find out more detail, or you can start going through the car and simply start selecting here. It says front. It's going to dive into a little bit more of the front paint chips, and you can see here a highlighted imperfection with the paint. You can either go back out to that picture, or you can just start going through the various pieces and it'll highlight each one. So here it's going through the features of the exterior color, overall dimensions of the vehicle. Next it'll dive into the next imperfection, which is a scratch on the driver's side, and again it'll highlight, magnify that particular area. Another imperfection. So this is really great. Now if you're obviously very into no blemishes, probably a used car isn't for you. I would guess you want to go new, but otherwise you could continue to take a look at vehicles to see if there are any that are blemish free. And then it goes over the wheels, flying into the fuel that's used in the relative fuel economy, the trim level, and then give you a clean auto check report. You can also get the details itself. More imperfections, in this case simply wear. And now it's going to dive into the interior, and your first bit will be to see the color and some descriptions of the dimensions and number of seats, the accessories that are available, Bluetooth, highlighting the odometer level for the car, keys, drivetrain, and now you'll see all the doors, etc. opened, so you can get a deeper look into that, and you can take a deeper dive into the engine. I always like to see whether those are relatively clean or not, so I love that aspect of it. And you can get specs for the engine. So that's the kind of information that's available in view. It's the actual car. So it's not just a stock model that they take, but it's the actual car that you would be getting. And I can attest to that because the pictures match the car I got. A little bit more detail in some photos. And then if you want to do online financing, that's available to you. It'll kind of lay that out. It'll also allow you to go through the process of trading in another car. If that's not the car for you, they give you some other ones that match similar miles and model. You can look into overall consumer ratings from Edmunds and then details on some of the specs. So here we see the equivalent of a Carfax report, no accidents, vehicle checks out, etc. You can see it. And then you can get more detailed history of where it was, who owned it, etc. So all of that's available. Finally, one of the other features that I really like is they'll give you kind of like a Amazon. If you order within, you'll get it as soon as Saturday. So that's really a nice little feature. So that's the experience on the web. For me, it's enough information for me to say, yes, I'll go forward to the next stage of taking a look at the vehicle for the next 7 days. And as I've written, nicely enough for us, that was the car that we kept.